Alright, so normally I do this kind of thing at the end of one of my aircraft review videos, but I'm going to try this as an independent video today and maybe go in a little more detail, so I hope you guys like this. So today I'm going to break down a dogfight between me, the J-7E, against this F-14. And I'm really doing this more to emphasize the importance of positioning and knowing the state of your aircraft, and how it will perform at that state. Originally I was going to use the replay to make this clip, but the way I record my audio kind of doesn't really allow for that efficiently, so I might just put the unedited clip at the end, so enjoy. Before we start though, I am not a professional War Thunder player by any means. I'm just a nerd who likes planes, and subsequently playing video games. So there's a chance that something I might say might be inaccurate, so if you see something that is inaccurate, don't be afraid to say it in the comments so I can correct it for future reference. Anyway, let's get started. So this is pretty much at the end of a match. This F-14 is the last guy alive, and I pop a blind hunt because I had no idea where he was and I couldn't see him on the runway, and it turns out he's below me zooming up at me. And honestly, I may not have seen this guy if I didn't pop this blind hunt, so I'm lucky that I popped it when I did. As soon as I notice him zooming up at me, I start turning because I know when he gets to my altitude, he's going to be at a much lower energy state. He fires a missile on the way up, but that basically has zero chance of hitting, and I flare it anyway. And pausing it right here, it looks like he's going to be on my tail for a second, but of course, like I said, he's going to be at a fairly low energy state relative to me. Also, I meant to say this already, but he just came off the runway, and he's got a full load of fuel. At least I assume he has a full load of fuel, and in the F-14, a full load of fuel is a lot of weight. So his maneuverability is going to be quite hindered, which is why I'm confident taking this fight. At this point right here, he's coming right out of his climb and flattening out a turn with me, and at this point he's sitting at about 320 kilometers an hour, which is very slow, while I'm sitting at around 500. Of course, this is indicated airspeed. So already I've pretty much got the upper hand in this fight, especially since I have low fuel and I only have one missile left on the rails. So now we're just rate fighting, and of course this is going to be obviously taken downwards in a minute because he doesn't want to get in my guns, because the way it is now, I'm eventually just going to be behind him. So as you can see, this fight is slowly in a downward spiral, although I still have the altitude advantage by only a little bit, and our speeds have actually gotten closer together. He's sitting around 400 kilometers IAS, and I'm sitting at about 430 IAS. So now I'm kind of getting impatient. I don't want to sit here turning with this guy forever, so I pop my flaps out to try and get a tighter turning circle in. Which is something I didn't bring up in my J-7E video, but the flaps are actually quite effective with this thing. So now that I popped the flaps, I'm actually getting inside of his terms, to which his response is to take it downward, which is fairly appropriate to not get shot by me. Right here, I actually think I'm going to get my guns on target, but I don't because he takes a sharp turn straight down. And now I actually have the risk of overshooting. As you can see, I'm starting to get below him, which is not ideal. So to avoid fully overshooting, I cut my throttle, pop my air brake, and take a wider turn, trying to flatten out a little more level while he's going straight down, because this way I won't gain any airspeed while he gains that airspeed, so I can remain behind him. One of his mistakes here was leaving his afterburners on at full throttle, so he's gonna be right in front of me. I'm trying to modulate my throttle here so I still maintain a solid airspeed while not overshooting. And just like that, he's right in front of my guns, and I take him out with a little one-tap. Little did I know, in the fight actually, I only had 2 bullets left, so kinda lucky I didn't try and shoot him beforehand. Alright, so what should you take away from this fight? Well, first off, before the fight even started, I had the upper hand in my position. Not that that's his fault by any means that he was in a bad position, because he did just take off after all. I was at a much higher altitude and energy state, so him pitching up straight up for me like that was a very, very risky decision, and he paid the price for it. So what else contributed here? There is a possibility he could have won that if he was on lower fuel and made some better decisions at the beginning. Specifically the part where he zoom climbed to come get me. What I would have done in his position is probably try to stay under the radar a bit more and not be noticed until I have more altitude at an equal energy state to start a fight. But even then, a lot of people still underestimate the power of the J-7E. Especially since I had such a low fuel load and had all my missiles fired off, so I was pretty much at my lightest state. Anyway, that's it for the breakdown of the fight, but now I'm just going to show you an edit of the clip itself, so enjoy.